Y'all gonna come on in. We're gonna give it a second. I just went straight live raw, so I already know.
You straight live?
Yeah, it's gonna be hitting their phones in a second.
Let me do my update on
it. Should I start it back over before people start logging in? Because I forgot to put it on Instagram too.
Nah, we can check.
Yeah, man, we got red and blue pill in the city tonight. Coming through Norfolk City. Y'all come out, Sewell's Road. What's the address on the getter?
3110.
3110 Sewell's Road.
What's the YouTube channel?
No Days Off MMG.
No Days Off MMG, the YouTube channel. No Days Off MMG. We're going live. I'm in Hampton, Virginia. Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah, Part 3 is at today in Norfolk, Virginia, 310 Sewell's Avenue. But right now we're going live with the God. Salute.
Chip Stackin in the building, man.
All right.
No Days Off.
Yeah. Chip Stackin real big in these VA streets. Salute to Hampton. Salute to Bad News, Norfolk News. Newport News, Norfolk. Salute. All right. So check us out. What's the channel again?
No Days Off MMG, man.
No Days Off MMG. Going live. Peace. Right now. YouTube.
Yeah. Tonight is gonna be a ill event. Last night we had a good build going on, man. We kicking it off with the Identity Project, right? With this identity crisis bill, because the pills in town, they got their lecture tonight. The Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah. So red pill, man, just give the people a little preview, man. Give them a little insight on what we got, what you're gonna be dropping on them tonight, man.
All right. Best way to let me get right there. Yeah, put the channel on it. So then FB Live I have somebody. I got you. Yeah, people. Peace to the family. Peace to the family. Let me go ahead and minimize this thing. Yeah. So tonight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be bringing some pertinent information to the family in Virginia and globally, for that matter. So tonight, as we can see, the powers in the now and everything is relative. If you go into a lecture, the information at this point, I can't talk about yesterday. I can only talk about today, but the information should be pertinent to what's going on right now, like in the now. It should speak to whatever's happening either outside of your window or right there inside of your mind. And we currently have our people around the world, not just locally, not just, nationwide, but around the world. The world is encapsulated in fear right now. The world is under a spell, or it's under a PSYOPs, which is psychological operations. This is a third installment of a series that's entitled Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah. Some people may hear that and be like, oh, I ain't a Blackamoor. I'm Gucci. I'm going to go ahead and watch the game. And I'm like, Blackamoor is relating to a term that was used on our people just right before they began getting called Negroes. Can you move that? So Blackamoor deludes to Moors and Black people as one person, because there was always this contention in the conscious community and about who was Black or who was a Moor. And the European pilgrim, who is the descendant of the Germanic tribes, the descendant of the Gothic tribes, the descendant of the Spaniards, the descendants of the Portuguese, and all of the other European families who comprise of nation states that are currently called Europe. Mm-hmm. But prior to being Europe, they were known as Christendom. And Christendom was formed under the pretense to battle the Moors, or we could simply say North Africans, West Africans, and Arabs who were reigning reigning. When I mean reigning, they were ruling Europe. They were ruling the Iberian Peninsula. They were ruling that whole region and all of these tribes that I was telling you about. This is where Charlemagne comes from. This is where Charles Martel the Hammer comes out of. This is where Roland comes out of. All of these European folk heroes. And what they never tell you, though, is the other people on the other side who they were fighting were black, pitch black, just like you. Pitch black, just like the refugees that they don't want to come in right now. Pitch black, like the people who they're telling, pitch black with, you know, wavy hair. Arabians. But when you hear Arabians, you've been indoctrinated to think that that's dude at the gas station.
Right.
When you hear Muslim, you've been indoctrinated to think that's the Arab that you go and buy pork sandwiches from.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you think that that's the Yemenis that's at the corner stores in New York.
Right.
Right. And then when you see the Yemenis at the corner store because they are Ottomans or they're Turks or they're pale European Arabs or they're amalgamated, you know what I mean? They're watered down in a sense, the same way that the quote unquote Indian in America or the quote unquote Spaniard or Taino Borican who's dark in Latin America, they're watered down and you see the Spaniard conquistador looking one.
Right.
You know what I mean? So these people are, you know, our people don't understand coded language that the European uses. They don't understand lexicon. They don't understand legalese.
Right.
They don't understand the way that the European talks is in double language.
Right. Right.
So when they hear ban on Muslims, they're like, yeah, they wasn't here for us when we were getting shot. They weren't marching with us. I didn't hear them singing songs with us. They didn't lay down and die with us. And you know what I mean? Remember the die-ins?
Right.
They didn't march and sing with us. Remember niggas was singing all the time, hymns and shit?
Yeah.
Remember those marching songs?
Hey, let me still get this.
They didn't complain with us. They didn't complain with us. They didn't become victims with us. They wasn't with us when we were being victims. Because you can't say anything else than that. Let's be clear with our language with black people.
Right.
Because it wasn't like they wasn't turning up with us. They wasn't busting their guns with us.
Right.
They wasn't boycotting with us. They wasn't shutting shit down with us. You can't say that, black people, because that's not what y'all was doing.
I feel the same way.
So let me just continue. So, oh no, go ahead.
No,
Go.
No, I was saying I feel the same way because before earlier yesterday, before you had brought that conversation up, he said the same thing. Like, damn, Trump tripping. They got a thing about the Muslims. They trying to turn the Muslim into the new Jew. And I said, well, that's an old thing, first of all. But then me coming from a culture where it say, all right, my mom, she was married to a Senegalese man, so I grew up making salat 5 times a day, right? And I grew up lining up foot to foot, shoulder to shoulder with the dirty Arab.
With the dirty, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I seen with my own eyes how it is absolutely no difference in Islam and Christianity as far as when I same thing when I asked the Arab at the store, you show me the person in the Quran that looked like me, and he was Bilal and he was a slave. And that's everybody's interpretation of us in general. When it's so to tie myself, that's why I don't feel any sympathy for, because to go back to what you were saying is they wasn't riding.
But this is what the information is. This is why the information is so pertinent. This is why the lessons have to be not just heard and understood. Because it was all good when we were giving out the information of the Moorish Empire, when we were explaining the fact that there was an empire of Africans who looked like that Senegalese, who looked like the ancestors who they showed were slaves. Well, before they were slaves, okay? Before they was in shackles, because y'all only focus on that. That's like telling me the story of somebody who's locked up and you only talk about when this nigga was in jail. Right. You don't talk about when he was a Willie. You don't talk about his exploits. You don't talk about how he was turning up. You're not talking about any of the time he spent with his family, the time he spent with his children. You just want to give me the story of his enslavement. You just want to fucking harp on the time he was being tortured. You act like this 200 or 300 period of chattel slavery that not every fucking black person in the world went through.
True indeed.
That's like telling a story about 2 million black men that are locked up right now, 50 years from now, and then you approach it like everybody was locked up. Like everybody was in jail. Like everybody was under the fucking gun. No, niggas was busting a gun.
Facts.
Okay? I'm in Virginia. This is a military town. Do you know what it was before it was a military town? A black military town. A Blackamoor military town. A black Indian military town. This was a resistance town.
Facts.
The spirit that they got in the shoe savages, it comes from that DNA that they were resistors. Do you think that these crackers don't know that? Do you know why they suppressing y'all? Do you know why y'all in poverty? Huh? And then when black people look at each other, how do they look at each other? They don't look at you as if you could be master. They don't look at you as you could be a god. It's only from slave to slave. And when they look at these crackers, it's from slave to master. That's how it's done.
That's a fact.
So it's easy for us to hate each other. It's easy for us to kill each other. It's easy for all of this shit to take place, but they still fear you. It's still fear of a Blackamoor Messiah because the cracker know who you are. So they're not looking at you. The ones who know in the lodge, the Masonic ones, the ones who have the secret, the ones who study you. Don't worry about the hillbilly. I was just in Target with them. They are just pawns in the game. In the chessboard of this whole shit, they're just the pawns. It's not some people are friends with them. I work with this dude, Billy Bob, and all of that. He's mad cool. You feel me? I went to school. We played football with you know what I mean, Russell and all of them. You feel me? All of this stuff. Their mother feeds us. Come on, son. Come on, son.
Right.
Come on, son. And these are some conscious niggas who claim that they researchers and they study, but they not conscious niggas. They dick riders who hopped on information the same way that they hopped on the streets, the same way that they hopped on gangs, the same way that these niggas bought mixtapes and try to clone niggas and become niggas. So you're just dick riders. You don't even do consciousness right. You just latch on to bandwagon shit. Okay? You just be following trends. So real people who study know. Did you study the history of a people? You study the behavior of a people. You study the shit that people have done. So you know that there is a large gene pool of white Neanderthal derelicts or the people of a lower class because that's who came over here. Facts. So you already know about that percentage, and you know that that percentage got along and they fucked with us the long way because that's just how niggas bonded back then. You feel me? But these were the dregs of European society. They're what is known as the trailer trash right now. They're the ones who are always used as the indentured servants. They're the ones who are always used as the muscle, as the overseers, as the heavy hand. That's your police force. That's your overseers. That's the slave catchers. Nothing changed. And then there's an elite group of them who are the oligarchs, who are the ones who come out of the motherfucking higher aristocratic society, who stole the information from the higher aristocratic society of the Blackamoors, or the Moors who were in Europe, who had the bag, they had the cloth, they had the information, they had the gems, they had the pearls, the jewels. They were the ones who brought forth the age of enlightenment. All I'm trying to tell you is wars take place against genetic bloodlines. You understand? Wars are not, they don't stop warfare against a group of people. They enact what is known as eugenics and genocide against bloodlines because it's about your DNA. So if any of you niggas have reincarnated in the time period of 2020 and 2012, and this is a time zone, this shit is fucking, this is when history is being made. Right. They're gonna do anything in their powers to stop that. So fast forward or rewind the tape to 2006. You saw the Moors banging on the police online. You saw the Moors chasing the motherfucking judges out of their chambers. You saw motherfucking Moors taking big houses from niggas. Like, nah, that's my shit. I own the land and the house. Right. You saw sovereigns. I'm not talking about Moors right now. You saw sovereigns getting jets, getting mansions, becoming private citizens, doing all kind of things in the corporate realm. This is where the Trumps and all of them lurk at. This is where all of these billionaires they deal in the private realm. So whenever there's an influx of people who are ushering in, they're coming into these realms, doing real business, not on YouTube talking about it, but putting in real work, putting liens on judges, putting all kind of shit in order, correcting paperwork, challenging them at higher levels. This created an effect. It's called blowback. There's a pushback involved with that. That's a messianic force that alerts them that these niggas are waking up. Because guess what? This is the age of enlightenment.
Right.
So you think the crackers just like, oh, it's the age of enlightenment, but every nigga on World Star is stupid, so we're gonna keep it moving. No, DJ Vlad, who was part of their structure, he had all of your new leaders and your enlighteners on his channel. He already showed, you know what I mean? So half of the world watches World Star. So go ahead.
My question is, if you are keeping integrity, is it wrong to go to these other media outlets? Because Vlad's a fucking agent to me. This is how I feel. I don't know the nigga, but I know how shit looks, right? But at the same time, is it okay to use these other media outlets to
keyword, use. You understand? Strategy, keyword, use. Meaning that whenever you decided of what it is that you're gonna, it's called strategy. This is why think tanks, and this is why behind closed door sessions are in order. And this is why you have to come together and you have to be able to move as a nation or a community as you say that you belong to, or even a network. So according to my knowledge, I don't know if this was already dealt with. I don't know if this was already spoken of. I don't know if this was already strategized that we're going to use Vlad for that purpose, because maybe he may be using you as another purpose. Keep in mind, this is a gossip site of a person who went to the police when he got assaulted by somebody that is a part of the culture. All right? This is not somebody who is a part of the culture. This is not somebody who we grew up with and who was feeding us information and help benefiting us. As a matter of fact, any website that allows black men to get on that site and talk about how they killed other black men willingly, I have to look at that like, damn, I ain't never seen no shit like that.
Right.
They got niggas talking about their bodies up here. Like, yeah. That's some other shit.
Yeah,
you know, so homie has a lot of information into the you know what I mean? I know what infiltration is. I know what motherfucking people sneaking in who don't need to be in the motherfucking room with us looks like.
Right.
I wouldn't give no, I'm not comfortable with cloth talking around anybody who is not of our race, because it's race first. I don't have to apologize for that. Right. I don't have to create any kind of intellectual masturbation. Would I sit on Vlad's couch? I would sit on Vlad's couch, but I would sit on Vlad's couch and we would have to talk about the progression of a people. I'm not gossiping with no cracker or no Neanderthal. I would talk to Vlad about the Gothic empires and the fear of a Blackamoor Messiah. And I would tell Vlad, if he wants to be a card carrying member of this culture, right. If he wants to represent, if he wants to be a voice for the culture, that there's things that he has to do for the culture. The same way that if any one of us get on a European platform, or if we want to get with European media, or if we want to do anything with them, they have a set of rules that we have to abide by before we come into the structure of white supremacy. So why is it that black people have no set of rules whatsoever that we have European Neanderthal pilgrims abide by when they want to become part of our community and benefit off of our culture? He's getting checks off of our culture, but we don't tell the we don't put any kind of rules to the European. But you want to get in the culture. They got our women have to get on her knees in some instances. They got to get passed around. You understand? They got to motherfucking, just go in the room blindfold. You feel me? Even these niggas got to do that with these crackers. When you go into the industry and stuff like that, with this whole homosexual Romanistic Greco-Roman movement, they didn't believe us 10 years ago, but now they understand what it is that we're talking about. We don't even got to sell that one. Right. It is what the fuck it is. All right. And in Hollywood and in the hills, how is it that every single one of our people who go into Hollywood in pursuit of happiness or following their career in Hollywood, or the majority of the sisters wind up in San Fernando Valley, which is the porn industry, or they wind up in the sex industry where they're being sold on Backspace and other places around the world. They're shipping our women to Dubai for sale. How is it that the brothers get turned out and they go weird on us? Huh? It's not, if it quacks like a duck, it gotta be a duck. So niggas ain't coming to New York to get on Broadway and wigging out. They're not coming to the industry to get signed in the city. Like, they're not, it doesn't compare to what happens over there in that empire that was built off of the back of magicians and warlocks, Kabbalists, and some other people who are dealing with a lot of nefarious energy, and they have their main goal is to suppress the image of the Black Messiah around the world. Do you know that that's why our image around the world is so fucked up?
Here's my thing. If we're not dealing with ourselves being this fucked up image, but we're claiming and holding on to titles that ain't even ours. And we looking for different images, but we still want to call ourselves Black or more, or we want to address ourselves to however is relative to how they see us. We say, well, they were calling us Moors before they was calling us Black. And we still always dealing with how their view of us. We're not never dealing with because there are two types of truths. Here it is. You got relative truth and you have absolute truth.
Facts.
So we deal with a lot of relative truth. Relatively true, I'm Black. Relatively true, I'm Moor. Yeah. Relatively true, I'm African American, whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This is all relative shit. Relative. It's not absolute. Nope. Absolute is I am God. I'm no different from the tree, the water, the wind, the air, everything. We all made of the same thing. Atoms. It's all one. Mm-hmm. Now these are absolute facts. So if we talking about coming into consciousness and ushering people into consciousness, if we talking about it for real, we have to eliminate the titles.
Oh, definitely.
And deal with identity.
Definitely. Got to deal with identity.
Because this is where
it starts there.
Back to where we were last night. Like, who are you? Who are we? You want to go by Black? That's too small for me.
Mm-hmm. Ain't enough in that.
That's not. And you know, I was always taught that a race got a beginning and an end, so I don't want no parts in that. You know what I mean? Because you can't touch my beginning or my end. Mm-hmm. So we already know we older than we predate history. We know that. So in being that, if we trying to break out of the white man's spell, out of this magician spell, why are we still clinging on to these titles?
That's my question. You will not move in the direction that you have to move in at this point as a victor, you know what I mean, in this assault or this campaign against you, and this this oncoming purge by alluding to titles. You got to get off of that. Like, you got to be willing to level up at this point. You know, it's all about identity at this point. If you cannot identify yourself, then what happens to the body that's unidentified?
Right.
What happens to John Doe? You can't be identified as property. You can't be Black. You can't be civilitaire mortus. You have to understand status. There is a person in the Oval Office right now that deals with status. He deals with debtors. He doesn't speak the language that you niggas speak. They're only dealing with legalese at this point. They're only dealing with it from a corporate stat, and they're liquidating. They're getting ready to liquidate. So it's about, you have to identify yourself. Remember, they don't have a seat for you at the UN. I was there. We have footage. They do not have where the America flag sits at the UN. They said they don't know who Black people are. Black? Who's that? There's no seat for Black people here. Nobody speaks for them there. You have no allies. So what do you think the wall is for? Is the wall to keep the Mexicans out or to keep you in? You always have to ask yourself that. What is the wall for? Why are they stopping people from coming into America? Why are they stopping potential allies from coming into America? Why are they banning Muslims from coming in and leaving? Who are the Muslims? Who are the Muslims? It's two different things. Muslims and Muslims are two different things. Oh, I ain't Muslim, I'm RBG. Going back to code language, if I could show you where they say Muslims are black Africans from West Africa, from East Africa, and from North Africa, would you understand the coding that they're using? You could still be a Muslim. I mean, you could still be a black Christian down south, but the European who brought you over here or brought descendants of yours over here and who have been monitoring you and socially engineering you, and from a Christian standpoint, who believe wholeheartedly from an evangelical standpoint or a Jesuit standpoint or Israeli Zionist standpoint, that you have to be the tribe of Ham in order for their prophecies of their Messiah to come true. You got to be Ham, and you have to be in that prophecy, which they are working hand in hand now. Remember, all of the European countries that are going far right, meaning they're forming Christendom, meaning they are forming Voltron. You know, in Voltron, when the beast forms, this is the political aspect of what it looks like. The press is complicit in it. He put the press on code the same way he put Steve Harvey on code, the same way that he put Kanye on code. All of the press met with him. All of the tech top 100, top 20 met with him. Everybody's on code. So they're all playing a game right now, but it's a forming of Voltron, Brexit. When London and them broke off, Russia and them's getting ready. So all of them that fall under their job is to fulfill biblical prophecy, what beyond any reasonable doubt. That's their only job.
True.
Their full job, outside of robbing niggas and fleecing the country and collapsing Rome and whatever they're doing, is to fulfill that prophecy. So don't fall for the Pope acting like the okie doke.
It doesn't have to be our role to participate in that bullshit, though.
Well, this is what's most important. That's why I talk about Blackamoor Messiah. Because if we identify ourselves as the dominant, if we identify ourselves as our DNA being older, the oldest DNA on this planet, meaning that you can identify your DNA as the oldest DNA on the planet, meaning that a lot of the reality in this holographic world is being created by dominant DNA. Whatever's going on in the world is being affected by the DNA, which is being marketed to, which is being programmed, which is being socially engineered, which is being put inside of fear, which is being fed GMOs, which is being sprinkled all kind of poisons and all kind of chemicals and all kind of biological agents in the water and the air and all of these other things. So it's about cleaning up, fixing, and raising the frequency of a group of our people whose frequency is already higher. It's already raising, but it's about continuing to raise that bar, because if we don't fix us, we're not going to make that jump that those of us who are fixing ourselves to make the jump will make, because the shit gonna fall. But the question is, when something falls, that means something is rising. So if you can identify what's rising, then you see what's falling. Because if we're all waking up inside of consciousness, this has to happen. It would only be inside of the law of duality, the law of correspondence. We deal with hermetic principles and universal law, the law of genders and all of this other stuff. You have to have a protagonist and an antagonist in the story. You have to have a set in order for Horus to appear. Horus was a group of people. The Black Messiah is messianic people. It's not one person. That's the problem. Niggas got caught up on leaders and personalities. And because we live in a social media era, it's not even a conscious community. You have to approach, what is social media? What's the power of social media? What's the power of the internet? What's the power of cyberspace? We're dealing with some power right now. It's invisible. Give me the address to cyberspace.
No, I understand. That's why I tell my brothers all the time, we dealing with places where you can't, your money is not accepted, your cash is not accepted.
We're at war.
I tell them online.
We're at war with spirits and things of higher principalities.
Facts.
We're at war with higher principalities. So here it is, case in point. I'm Red Pill. Me and you was chilling, we building, we right here. Somewhere far away yonder, in lands unconquered, videos are playing. People are waking up. They're being affected and they're seeing my image in other places in a realm that is a light realm. Remember, the internet is a light realm. It's the realm of the unseen. Like the spirit realm is the realm of the unseen. Case in point, this Mac is sending out signals right now. My phone is sending out signals and people are live and watching me around the world. Do you see the signals that are leaving my phone? No. With your naked eye, can you see the intelligence leaving the phone? No. But it doesn't negate that it's not leaving it. So we live in this realm where we can only see 10% of the light spectrum with our human eye. But it don't mean that there's all kind of shit going on around us, right? So in the realm, in the cyberspace realm, we are even more powerful than we are in the physical realm or this material realm or this 3D realm that's called this earth. We're at war on some Matrix shit online. Like Neo and motherfucking Morpheus is fighting Agent Smith. Agent Smith being Trump, alt-right, and all of these other people who are coming in, and the Sentinels are trying to come into Zion. Shit like that. So they're dealing with alt-right or alt-facts. You know, it's the same thing. So they introduce you to alt-right. But there was a third right. But this is the alt-right. Right? And you know, RIT is a spell. RIT is, when you do the etymology on that, that's rituals. So alt-right and the alt-facts to create an alternative reality. All right? A reality where these crackers are bigger and stronger and more alpha and more in charge than they really supposed to be. And that's where the press is complicit. That's where the talking heads are complicit. That's where those million women who took our black women out of their houses to go and march about white men, all right, but didn't even really go in. They just wanted to march and talk about one white man, huh? They just wanted to deal with Trump, but they didn't go out there and tear down white supremacy. They didn't go out there and to do the same thing that they had Obama do with his pastor, where he had to denounce him and he had to denounce Farrakhan. Those white women did not denounce white supremacy. They did not denounce white men. They did not denounce their fucking sons and everybody who's evil on this planet, who's causing all of the problems that they conspicuously gave birth to. But they wanted to talk bad about black men because we were ahead of the conversation other than white men. They started talking about niggas down there, all right? But they didn't want to talk about their own people. So they're distractions. Their part, it's all about them being on code right now. You think white people are stupid? They sitting back like, yo, Voltron is forming. We studied the Hitler movement when Mussolini started coming together with Hitler. So now you see Trump coming together with Putin, coming together with the other people that go on far right, coming together with all of these other people. And they're doing what? They're saying, yo, block the Moors out. Stop letting them into the country. The same way that you go back into history is called a capitulation of the Moors. When they kicked the Moors out of Europe, when they kicked the Muslims out of Europe, when they said y'all not allowed to come in, only the ones who we do business with who sold you niggas out. So only the ones that Trump does business with who already sold out against the black Arab, against the concept of Islam being something other than what it got conquered the same way that Christianity got conquered. Right. Because we can't throw the Coptics away. We can't throw some of our people who believe in the Christos away. We can't believe and we can't throw the people who know that the Christ consciousness is a messianic force. Like we had Marcus Garvey, he knew how to deal with that. Right. He was a Roman Catholic, and he was one of our messiahs. Martin Luther King, as much as people may try to talk down to him, messianic force. Right. He was Messiah and he prophesied things. Right. You understand? And I have the records on the lecture today where they considered him one of the biggest threats against their quote unquote mission, because they said if he stops cooperating with the white liberal and becomes a black nationalist, he is the biggest threat to white supremacy on this planet. And they had to do anything in their powers to stop him. What does that mean? That means that you can't straddle the fence and call yourself effective. You cannot play both sides of the fence and have this message clear for our people in order to wake our people up and galvanize the people who need the most right now. No fucking little Timmy and them don't need my help in the trailer park. Okay? Little Becky and them don't need Red Pill's help. They don't need this cloth. All right? They gave nothing to anything that is beneficial to what it is that we've been doing for the last 10 years. So it's no personal, it's nothing personal. Had nothing personal, it's all business. Has nothing to do with personal. But I identify with a frequency, and I identify with the DNA gene pool, and I identify biologically and biogenetically to a group of people who emerge from a different kind of strain than they do. Okay? And as a dominant and as a member of the dominant gene pool, those are my children. Those are recessives. Those are not my masters. Those are not my leaders. Those are not my presidents. Those are not my bosses. Those are not people who are going to tell me how to shape my reality. That's not my media. That's not my windows to the world. They don't give me the motherfucking pills to make me motherfucking healthy. That's not my doctor. That's not my lawyers. You understand? You can't speak for my freedom for me. You can't articulate my plight. You cannot talk about the plight of my people. You cannot articulate that. You can't even intellectualize it. How could you get on the world stage and try to speak for anything that we supposed to represent? We have to speak for us. We have to articulate, like Malcolm X went to Oxford to articulate the plight of our people. Not only did he go to articulate the plight of our people, he debated the cracker. Okay? All or nothing, cocksucker. All or nothing. Put it on a table. Come and talk to me. Bring me Richard Spencer. Bring me any one of them. Let's just put it all on the table at this point. So we don't have to pussyfoot and wear pussy hats and be on some pussy shit. Okay? Don't play with us. Put it all on the table, all or nothing. Dominant versus recessive. Bring your fucking alt facts, and I'll bring my facts and my facts initiative, and we could just settle it out, because warfare is intellectual before it gets physical. And it's about to go physical, and they didn't even give you niggas your intellectual shot at life. They didn't even give you the opportunity to represent the future of your babies on a motherfucking stage where wars are fought. They gave the only debate that they showed you that was beneficial to you was the presidential and the vice president debate. That's where they debated your future. And they said, both of them said, we're going to run down on these niggas and crush them. Super predators said that they're going to become super predators against the super predators. So they're fighting for predator status. They said, we the savage. And 21 said, we the savage. And the other nigga said, we the savage. And Rondo and them said, we the savage. And Giuliani and them was like, nah, we the savage. Then Rahm Emanuel was like, fuck that, I'm a savage. Then Chief Keef and them niggas was like, nah, fuck that, we savage more. So these niggas is fighting for savage status. Where do you fit in there? Savage. Huh? Where do you fit in there? How are you going to be able to play this chess game where they're cornering you off? They're creating an environment for a civil war. That's a military tactic when they draw down on you. That's how all of these conflicts overseas have started. There's 4 or 5 wars taking place in every single place where there's a conflict, meaning that they collapsed the government and they created their own ops. They brought PMCs, private military contractors, and CIA mercenaries to play the ops. They weaponized the ops against the people who were black messiahs on those lands.
So let me ask you a question. How do you say warfare is intellectual first before it gets physical? And that I do agree.
Warfare is spiritual, intellectual, and mental first. And it deals with propaganda, meaning hearts and minds, ideas and concepts. You feel me? It's all about information manipulation and alt facts and creating a reality that doesn't exist, with more dominating ideas and concepts that will trump yours. That's how it starts. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the Crusades and the Inquisition and the Reconquista was about. I gave you that in part 1 of Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah. And that's what you see developing now. Heritage Foundation, Richard Mercer, Richard Pence, Jesuit. All of these narratives are at play. Stephen Bannon, Breitbart. All of these narratives of the alt-right, and remember, the alt-right are saying that they're the Gothic medieval descendants of the people that the Moors defeated. They are identifying with the people who conquered the Moors. They're identifying with Christendom. They're identifying with the Christian army. They're identifying with the Knights. They're identifying with the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan being a satanic occultic group who come out of the same kind of people who were torturing, murdering, maiming our people in Latin America, South America, the Caribbean, North America, Al-Andalusia, West Africa, on the shores of Africa, all around the fucking world. It's the same motherfuckers, bro. What the fuck? You don't get that? You can't smell that one? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's all about, they are returning back to, it's all about cycles. So this cycle that we find ourselves going into is very reminiscent of a cycle that I showed the people in Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah 1 that occurred in the 1400s, 1500s, the 16, 11, 12.
I got somebody in the chat room asking, can you share a little bit about Breitbart?
Breitbart is, remember, all right, let's use it in terms of consciousness. Because wherever you have the black conscious community, you had the white conscious community. You can hit the light. Is there light? You had the white conscious community. So, or you have a white nationalist movement, like you have a black nationalist movement, going back to the law of duality, going back to how this shit works. Because when the NOI was on the rise, right? Their KKK was on the rise, because Elijah and them was around from the 30s. Noble Drew Aliwa and them was around from the 20s. So we're talking about a 100-year dynasty. So as our people woke up and rise up, due to the law of duality and the way that they're attached, the way that these Europeans, they're not attached to us, they attach themselves to us. You got to remember the relationship between parasite and host. It's one of the oldest relationships on this planet. And if you think that you are the parasite, well, God damn it, you are the I am. You're gonna become that. You're gonna turn into the savage. You're gonna become the have-not. You're gonna become the thought. You're gonna become the thought of the planet. You're gonna become the beggar of the planet. You're gonna become poverty-minded. You're gonna become a have-not. So the have-nots are convincing the haves that they're the have-nots. And now the have-nots are nervous because the have-nots are waking up. The alleged have-nots are waking up that they're the haves. So niggas is like, hold on. How is it that I'm from Africa and I'm broke?
Right.
What the fuck is going on? How is it that I'm from the Caribbean and I'm hungry? How is it that I'm poor and I'm from Jamaica and we grow all the weed and this is $1 billion empire in Colorado alone?
Right.
And in Denver. But mine grow weed in Jamaica and mine suffer up the whole fucking country. So then you start saying, hold on, these crackers come from a barren land. They don't got gold in their mountains. They don't got tropical fish in their water. They don't got fruits on their trees. Like that. The motherfucking London stay cloudy. It's mad mountains and caves. Game of Thrones, nigga, the winter coming. So here we come from these rich lands, but you got religion, no? You niggas is religious. Somebody said that they came and saved you, but did they save you or did they downgrade you? Did they come and put you and conquer you in the name of the cross? The Crusades was about conquering in the name of the crown and the cross. Look it up. I'll shit you not. Did you not? You forgot Hidden Colors that quick. That's the problem with our people. We so distracted. We in Zion and then we in the Matrix. We hop right back in the Matrix and we erase the fucking hard drive. You've been pounded with this information. You've been diluted with this information. Some people have benefited off of that and they stay woke. Some have not, because you're trying to balance the light and the dark. You're trying to balance the nigga world and you're trying to balance this higher, this God, this conscious world, or your higher self and your lower self. It's many different names. You know what I'm saying? You know when you act like a dumb motherfucker. You know when you act like a thought. You know when you act like a bird ass nigga. You know when you act like a goofy. That's your lower self. When that shit on your shoulder convinces you to do some shit to risk your fucking life, to take a penitentiary chance for a bag of chips or some shit, that's your lower self. When that motherfucking devil on your shoulder or the evils on your shoulder or the motherfucking the hormones that was inside of those pig feet that you ate last night tells you, you know what, fuck it, go ahead and suck that nigga's dick to pay your phone bill. You know what I'm saying? And let him record you. It's all right. You know what I mean? You can always brush your teeth. Shit like that. That's your lower self. Your higher self is the one who says, I would never degrade myself and do some dumb shit like that for a motherfucking, what the fuck, a favor? That's not a favor for a favor. You understand? I would never degrade myself. I'm learning about the power of who I am. I'm learning about, I'm a black woman, learning about the power of the black guy, learning that society was at its apex when they were together, and now I'm justifying lesbianism. Now I'm justifying that homo shit. Now I'm justifying LBGT because I got a fucking itch that I want to scratch. I'm into humping these days. Stupid shit. Because these Europeans or these Greco-Romans you're in Rome. You didn't know you was in Rome, but now you know that you're in Rome finally. Go and watch Rise of the Barbarians. You're in Rome because you've accepted Rome. And they programmed you to accept Rome. And they programmed you to, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And we're in Rome on our Hannibal shit. And of course, that's like Neo being in the Matrix on his Neo shit. He's going to make the Matrix nervous. And there's Agent Smiths all around us. You understand? The same way that when Hannibal Barker, and he was tearing through these motherfuckers on his Morris shit, you understand, they had the agents around him the same way that they had the agents against the Black Messiahs. He is the apex of the Black Messiah. The same, they study him in the military schools. They learn the art of warfare, and they learn how to conquer, and they learn how to debo shit, utilizing his motherfucking claw. They tell you that. So our people are going, we straddling the fence. What I'm coming out here to talk to the family is about, there's no more straddling the fence. You have to balance, you have to create this balancing act that's really going to work in 2016 going to 2020. I'm only here to talk for red pill, blue pill, mama pill, KT. You understand? I'm coming to represent their message. You understand? And what I'm saying is, what I'm building up, what we're building up, is going to be a movement and a network, which will eventually become a community, which will eventually become a nation. Because I'm not up here to scare niggas. You understand? But I'm up here to say, look, we got to stop playing all the games that we've been playing. I could do an 8-hour lecture on all the games, even games that I play. Yeah. So I'm checking myself. Go ahead.
My bad. All right, so I want to ask you one more thing. After you, come on, please. After you start to gain this consciousness, where are the actions? Where do the actions come in? Because we're people, I know, like you say, you were speaking for your people, I'm speaking for my people. We about action. We like to see, we like feet on the ground. We like to see shit get done. We like to see ideas get started and finished.
Yeah.
We want to see food, clothing, and shelter based off of our intellectual property.
Pass me that drum. Yeah.
Applying knowledge is action. We want to build off applied knowledge. So where do we go? Where does the action come in? Where do you take the information into the next level? Because once these people got all this information, do they keep reciting the same information? Where do the steps get made towards the action? Because that's what the young people want to see.
Pass that camera thing.
And then, and not only that, is that, like you said, we fast.
Pass that camera thing. Yeah, that lens right there. Yeah.
We fast in the information age, so we know Instagram videos.
It's called a quickening.
And I've had people tell me doing media that, yo, I look for all the videos less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like say me, and I like say I might be riding in the car, I might be working, I really just want the headphones, so I look for shit that's an hour.
Back.
And I just pop in the headphones, so I just and I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
All right. There's a lecture, because I could go on for 2 hours with that answer. There's a lecture called "The Evolution Will Be Digitized." Thanks to Google, everything is on Google. The evolution, not revolution. The evolution will be digitized. Then there's another series of lecture called the Facts Initiative, which stands for Food, Art, Clothing, Technology, and Shelter. I used a simple algorithm when studying technology, and I found out that 30,000 of us with a $20 investment comes up to $600,000. So when 30,000 of us decide to come together on a membership, I have an app. I showed you the app last night. Right. So when we decide to sign up for this membership site and we invest No nigga could donate to me. Nobody could donate to this cause. This is not a cause. This is a movement. So when you invest in yourself, because the people are going to save themselves.
Facts.
And the action is in the people, because you're seeing action in the flesh right now. I am the action, because God is an action verb and consciousness is a verb. It's called God in, and consciousness is doing. So yeah, I speak things into existence. You understand? We do the work. Us building on film, like I said, the warfare is intellectual. The warfare is mental. I'm at war on 2/5. Every time the camera come on, I go to war. I'm not up there playing games. I don't belong to no gossip sites. You don't find me gossiping on gossip sites. I'm not a chatty patty. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not worried about, you know what I'm saying? It's not about who I'm sleeping with. None of the dumb shit. I'm up there busting my motherfucking gun, collapsing all kind of false realities, unplugging people from the matrix, having niggas overdose on pills, red pills that is, and blue pills. So the action is what my mother was doing for 30 years. By the way, she cured AIDS with Dr. Sabi. Yeah. But we live in a community where that doesn't mean anything. We have a woman who's alive who cured AIDS. She's black and she got an afro.
I don't think that it doesn't mean anything. I just think the information is not there. See, we learned
it's enough. Sabi went viral
after his death.
No, he was going viral leading up to his death. That's for the people who know and who can see. You knew what was about to happen.
Yeah, inside of the community.
No, he began to ascend beyond. He began to, you know, when novas begin to shine, like, because I'm studying the algorithms of this matrix, of this internet. It's called the internet, but it's the matrix. And you'll know in about 10 years, maybe, or 5, with that. And by 2020, you'll know what I mean by that. But as he began to grow and he began to expand and he began to go viral and he began to spiral, I'm like, okay, I know what's going on. He's becoming immortalized. You understand? So all I'm saying is he's immortalized, and the people who have that has to be documented. That has to be put on the record. It's not even about celebration at this end. Nobody needs a ticker tape parade.
Right.
But it exists, and it's a reality. It's an alt fact. It's not a fact that these crackers and that 98% of our people who are black know about. They're running around saying, yo, I want to wear pink in March and let's throw mad money at white people. Wait, they did what? We not throwing nothing at them. Prove it. Show us it. I want, you know what I mean? Yeah. You lying. I'm marching with these other people. I'm believing in these other people. I'm waiting for the magical drug to come out from these other people. And that's all that matters. So I'm saying that we can't live in a society like that anymore. Just a small example. We're not going to be able to grow and function living in an alt reality. We have to carve out our own reality. We have to live on our own frequency. We have to move and act. What's the action? The way that this train will start moving is if everybody got up on the train and started moving. There's a few people on the train dancing for y'all. You know, like in New York, when niggas get on the motherfucking train and put on a dance act, there's a few of us dancing for y'all. We on the pole and all of that. Suspended reality. Niggas is doing the backflips. Some niggas is doing a hat trick, doing that. And y'all are impressed. And you're mesmerized, not knowing that we all could dance. Not knowing that we all supposed to be getting up on that train and making moves on that train. Because that's where the power rests. I'm here to let people in Norfolk know that you're the Black Messiahs. You're the answer. All of them are on code. They are all about to put their lives on the line to get America great again. They're willing to go to motherfucking lengths, and they're training and they're applying the knowledge. This is how you apply the knowledge. You take this drone, which is part of technology that's dealing with the evolution in its digital form. You put a camera on it and you show consciousness from another angle. That's how you act. And then you add on to what we're doing on 125th Street. You know what I mean? We're out there with a simple Canon. We're doing guerrilla marketing and we're affecting the world with a Canon. Right? No boom mic, no lights. Right. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. No lights, no specialties. He been out there. Sometimes a camera phone. And we're affecting global narrative. Right. And all I'm saying is we have a spectator. We have an audience that goes into the millions. If 1,000 of them or 100 of them were to come and assist us and get on the ground with us, we at war. How many times did the fucking trumpet got to be blown? But we don't receive assistance. I'm speaking for me. The assistance that I do receive is 0.0000001 point. He's with me a lot, so he knows what comes. And what I'm saying is we're not functioning in a manner that would even elicit a response. That I'm just like, yo, go hard. Use me as an example. Just go hard. You have to live this. The only time that my life changed for the better, and I began to see the future, is when I lived the consciousness. Not studied it, not turned it on like World Star. You gotta live it,
and that's where
you gotta live it.
When I'm talking about action, I'm talking about living.
Know thyself. Look, know thyself. I go back to this.
What got the drone? That's what I'm dealing with. What got the drone in the first place? A consciousness. What gets you 4K computers? Knowledge of self. And applying it though. Not just sitting around talking about the shit every day, but applying it, making it happen. Going out there with the people on the ground. When now you got a mob of 6 people with cameras and everybody got 4K cameras. Right. We not in no better situation. I'm talking about you in a place like, I'm talking about like the real life hood, like Jay-Z say, not the rap hood, but I'm talking about like the real hood, like where your rent might be $12. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the real life hood. Not, I know it's like it's motherfuckers living in the projects and pay $1,000 a month. I'm talking about this ain't that. I'm talking about row houses.
Yeah, row houses.
You know what I'm saying? How we living out here, right? And we still acquire everything we need. This is consciousness that acquires this. There are people that's allotted a lot more. There are people that live in $1 billion industry. That they stand on a street where millions of dollars of business walk by them every single day and can't apply the information that they have.
True indeed.
And you got people with absolutely shit.
Facts.
With nothing. They don't even got installation in the goddamn wall. And can apply. And this goes to the rap thing that I was talking about last night with the thing about who gave the game away and who learned how to take the game. And this is what I'm talking about is, what do we do with this information? We want to snatch young people. You want the water be on the ground. How do you take this information and make it pertinent to me?
I told you, but
how do you make it pertinent to him? To the ones that are gonna go out here and put in the work and go get a drone. They gonna go get a drone before they get a Benz. They gonna go get a drone before they get a pair of sneakers, and they still gonna have fly sneakers. They're the niggas that's gonna have $20,000 in the projects with the drones in the 4K max, because this is what we trying to do. If this is what we doing, this is what we doing. If that's what we doing, oh, that's what we doing.
Gonna do it hard. So going back to what I was saying to you the other last night, we have to become creatives. Your imagination is going to get you in a better place, meaning that you have to create the future with your skill sets and your gifts and your talents as an artist in the sciences. What do they call that? Academy for Arts and Sciences. You have no idea how much that has impacted the world in the favor for white people. You don't know what Hollywood has done for them. It's done wonders for them to make their motherfucking their history, reconstructed their history and told their story much that has point where the world in the favor for white people. They even, you don't know what Hollywood as gods. So you gotta start using, you know some of the mythos now, right? You know some of the stories of Asar and Set. They said that's the oldest story that's ever told. The story about the evil uncle who crosses the father and the son who avenges his death. You saw that in the Kung Fu movies. You saw that in the Westerns. You saw that in the slave narratives. You saw that,
King.
Huh?
She was in Lion King.
You seen it in Lion King.
You saw that, especially in Lion King, with Simba, Mufasa, and Scar. So the Asarian myth has always followed. It's actually the basis of, that's the oldest story that was ever told. So we have to reenact by using the tools. They democratize. Right? They are democratizing. The evolution will be digitized. They are democratizing not even just media and all kind of things. Facebook Live is really live TV. It's how you freak it. They're like, yo, we're giving you access to thousands of people and you could go live.
That is the impetus of broadcast television. You're broadcasting. It says stop broadcast, right?
Right.
So broadcast television is the fact that Channel 2 tapped into a frequency and they could say, I'm going live, and they're programming content from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Before they used to turn, well, now it's all night. Remember, they used to get the white fuzz.
Right.
So now you can't tell somebody who's on the plantation, sees themselves in an aspect that the white man is the master and they're the slave, because they've been indoctrinated in a poverty consciousness by listening to the roots narrative, by listening to them. They never taught you anything in school past slavery. You never knew about Mansa Musa. You never knew about the Moors. You never knew you never knew about anything that was pertinent to you being somebody who was of a superior stock, who was of a magical a bloodline, who was of an intelligent black messiah, royalty, not the shit that we've been teaching the family. If you learned that in school, hold on.
No. What I was saying, we always looked like growing up, like I told them, the first person I ever thought was cool was Big Daddy Kane, and I was off of some Apollo shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
The first thought nigga I thought was cool was Nino Brown. So I ain't never look up to no goddamn Christopher Columbus any way.
Facts.
Nobody I know did. Nobody came home and talked about what Abraham Lincoln did. We ain't give a fuck.
No.
I know niggas who never opened a book in their life and had a picture of Malcolm with a rifle on their wall.
And those are the black messiahs.
Because it represented being strong and being firm and not playing no games. But this is what we dealing with is action.
But that's why we in a precarious time. Hip hop is this. Hip is the knowledge,
right? And
hop is the action.
Right.
So in the earlier stages of hip hop, people who were conscious, like you said, Big Daddy Kane, guess what his appeal was? He was street and he was conscious. So he was hip because he was God body. He was saying the black man is God. He was fly on his Morris shit. They feeding him grapes. He's on his Emperor shit. He got the flat top symmetrically aligned. You know what I mean? Melanin on fleek. Dancing, the law of rhythm. So he had rhythm.
Yeah.
He was a master. He was a microphone controller, so he had control of the master ceremony.
Your mama and them liked him too.
Huh?
Your mama and them liked him.
So
the
he
older
fit,
women around,
he fit the
and
5
the older
pillars.
men around liked him.
So he fit the 5 pillars of what hip hop was: master of ceremony, dance, art,
the knowledge,
the knowledge aspect, which missing from the whole damn thing. What we're bringing back right now. So what I'm saying is, we live. It's about the now. So the now means that I'm in Norfolk and I'm in Hampton and we fucking with the hood and they've woken up. So it's back to hip and hop. So the active principle is the fact that I could go to somebody who's active, who will hop, be like, we need action. Because there's a hip part that's already activated. But the hop part, you're like, yo, what we gotta do? Get active. Be hoppers. Because at this point in time, we need people to activate who activate. So the hop side has the bag. The hop side is the op side. The hop side put in the work. The op side, the hop side is the clandestine, bad boys moving silent side. The hop side is the sexual energy side because that's the thought side. You dig what I'm saying? The hop side is the underworld side that you need in any kind of movement. But remember, Palo Mayombe, Yoruba, Obia, Budum, all of these have underworld societies that fuck with all of them. There's a cartel in Cuba, right? Everybody gonna get religious right now. Oh my goodness, what he's talking about? I'm talking about this. The things that you worship in the music or the culture, the things that you've died over, the things that you risked your life over, that dark energy, that energy that we all have because we have higher and lower self. So we have to feed our root chakra. Nigga, I need those fucking demonic synths in the trap music.
Right,
that's feeding. Nigga, I need that. Okay, I gotta turn up. You understand? I need some savage in my life sometimes because we gotta feed our lower selves, or our lower self will consume us. It's when you don't go up and down. It's when you stay in that fire. It's when you stay in that lower. You could be easily programmed from outside entities, frequencies, forces, and all kind of other things that are being given to us by our surrounding. Remember, They have you under siege. The wall is already built. There's a siege upon you. You're under siege. That's what they would do to mighty empires. They will have sieges around them, and that's how they weaken them. They'll poison the water. They'll stop the food supply.
Camp out there for months.
They camp out on you. They lay on you, like how the popo be laying on us on the outskirts. Whenever we leave the hood, they laying on us. So we under siege. So we're not even allowed to grow and prosper. We are in a constant state of, pardon me, we're in post 60s after they did the first war on the Black Messiah, and the war stayed. Because what do you think the war on drugs was? They was washing up messiahs. They was giving niggas 80 years. They gave the young boys in GS9 100 years. So that's the telltale sign of what's to come when they deal with this new. He said he's a law and order administration, meaning he's a crusader, meaning that means inquisition. That's all code words. I'm a law and order. I'm coming to Chicago. Chicago is the home of Black consciousness. Chicago is the light of Black consciousness. So Chicago is where the hip hop is really be able to take place, because if Chief Keef and them got the knowledge, if Chief Keef and them got the culture, if Rondo and them understood, the woman who said that she lied on Emmett Till is still alive, there's nothing more to even say. We don't have to have a conversation anymore. Yo, we're following homeboy Zimmerman on Snapchat. He just gave us a update about where he's eating some Sundays. What I'm saying is hip hop. What I'm saying is active principle. Active principle is you will do an all-night movie shoot because you're not a book. You have a active principle. You have a hot principle to what it is that you do. Y'all in the hood. Y'all take 7 cameras and guerrilla style run up in a lodge. Like, yo, we want answers. Y'all do the New Era Detroit and be in the church like, yo, we want answers. Yo, where this money going? That's something that was missing, but it's not about what we got into was competition, and that's what destroyed us. That's what's infiltrating us. That is the COINTELPRO. That is when Agent Smith woke up in the Matrix. Remember when he snuck into the Matrix and he started fucking shit up? That was the division. In any war, you have to form Voltron. Remember, imagine in a cartoon when the Beast was forming in Voltron against niggas when all of them shits will come together. So that's Brexit, that's Trump, that's Russia, that's the other ones. And then our lions, the shining lights, who are the new teachers. You can't put it on the shoulders of the elders because they can't fight the fight like that.
I agree.
They are the wizards, they the sorcerers. They're working on the ancestor realm. So everybody should have pictures of the ancestors on their shrine who made transition last year to guide you in this. You have scientists, you have a doctor, you have another scientist, you have a yeah, we about to sign out. You have Dr. Sabi with the health. You have Frances Cress Wilson, psychologist, and she told you what's going on in the ISIS papers. You have Dr. Delbert Blair, who is also a scientist. Put them on your altar, channel them, get the answers. You are at war. We don't have to talk about it. So it's the time to activate. What do? We put our money, we put our resources, and we put our labor where our mouth is. It's not about the teachers anymore. It's like going to college and you asking it's 1,000 students and you asking the professor, yo, you know what I mean? What you about to do? What you doing? The teacher like, look, I'm giving you this information because you're gonna leave and you're gonna enact it and you're gonna get it, you're gonna set it off, and y'all gonna come back as alumni and we're gonna do it again. And then a new group of students is coming in. So that's how that works. But we gotta go and do this lecture. Yeah. It's been wonderful.
Red pill, blue pill, Fear Blackamoor Messiah Part 3. If y'all in the city, come fuck with us. Y'all know how we do. Y'all know how we do afterwards. It ain't shit.
Yeah, we finna get that album. Scorpio King
gonna be on that
at thetwinpillar.bandcamp.com. Thetwinpillars.bandcamp.com. Kings County.
Tell them where to follow you at on Instagram too.
EL_Filthmore. All right. EL_Filthmore. You might have to take a picture of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. My man, Red Pill, one of the illest
video. You got a picture.
Follow me, No Days Off, MMG. on YouTube, directed by Chip Stackin on Instagram.
So it's all.
We out. Come see us in Norfolk.
Yeah, baby. Do it.
We gotta make copies. Yeah.
The fifth more, you spell it out.
PHILTH.
Where is that? Where is that mouse at?
Oh, there you go.
Yo, as soon as I turned the live jump on, it was like 30 people like automatically.